What's up, Guru Nation? Welcome back to the clinicaltrialsguru.com. Again, it's the clinicaltrialsguru.com. Make sure, thank you for watching. If you're brand new, welcome. I am Dan, this is Chris. Chris joins every now and then. He's got great insight. Great insight. Wow, fantastic. So we do webinars sometimes and you'll see Chris or sometimes hear his voice. If it's audio only. And if you're not new, thank you very much. And make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe to the blog as well. You don't want to miss out on giveaways, things like that. Actually, holidays are coming up.
Doing a giveaway again this year?
I think I might do another giveaway this year.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do something big.
A car?
Not that big. We're not Oprah. You get a car, you get no. But we'll think of something. So we'll do something big. A couple years ago, we did like Clinical Trial Guru hoodies. Last year, I think I did books. We were low budget last year. This year, we'll do something better.
All right.
So make sure you subscribe. That's the whole point of this. And call or text with any questions. 949-415-6256. Try me right now. If I'm not doing anything important, I will answer. So today's video is going to be about how to handle objections from a sponsor. Right? So typically when doing a clinical trial, everything goes smoothly, right? Like 90% of the time.
Well, if you're fortunate.
If you're fortunate, at least initially. So typically how this works, because I know we have a lot of new sites out there, or a lot of people thinking of starting a site, so they have no idea how this works. If you, and we tell our clients this all the time, if the sponsor's coming out to your site to do a site selection visit, finish it.
And they want to give you the study. They've already dedicated resources to that venture in the realm, I would guess, of $5,000, maybe even $10,000.
Yep.
So they're not going to spend that money unless they feel it's worthwhile.
So if they come to your site for the SSV, unless you do something out of the ordinary or unexpected or irrational, you're getting the study, right? 95% of the time. Now there is that other 5%, right? I don't think it's as high as 10, I think it's 5. 5% of the time, sometimes the sponsor has some objections. Maybe they actually do some due diligence and look into your site.
Well,
and they raise some questions and they have objections. So today we dealt with this at one of our sites, and the issue was, does the PI come in after 5 p.m.? For some reason, it got out that the PI for this site does not go to the clinic until 5 p.m. And so the sponsor was asking, well, how does this investigator have oversight? How do you report SAEs? What happens if a patient comes in at 10 a.m. and then they have an SAE? So these were all valid objections, but objections that thankfully we knew how to handle, right?
Well, it's to be determined.
It's to be determined, all right? But we did handle it well. So what would you say the most important things to focus on are when handling an objection from a sponsor?
Well, I would say number one, with your response, you don't want to provide a secondary objection.
You don't want to raise more questions.
Exactly. You want to answer the question. I guess it would be similar to an FDA audit, I guess. At an FDA audit, you're instructed to try and keep it at the bare minimums in response, right? Yes and no if you can, and only yes and no.
Right.
Now, with our situation today, that yes and no wouldn't have answered the question.
Right. But there's themes that you want to hit on.
Sure.
And so our themes were
GCP.
PI oversight, GCP, study participant safety monitoring, like all the things sponsors really care about. So whenever facing an objection, sometimes the objections are going to be PI oversight, like it was in this case. And then that PI oversight, if you break that down, obviously the most important thing is subject safety, but then also GCP and protocol adherence. But then even further down the chain and slightly less important is inconvenience to the monitor. if the PI is not always available. So that's one objection. Another type of objection, which we didn't face this time, but we have in the past, are recruitment objections, right? So, hey, we did some more due diligence and we discovered that, hey, how are you really going to get this many patients if most sites say that they're going to get X amount and you said you're going to get much less than that?
Or much more.
Or much more, like you're an outlier in one direction or another. That's another objection. So there's patient recruitment objections. So, and can you think of a third? A third main one. There's going to be thousands of objections.
Main one? No, I can't think of a main one, but yeah, I can think of many smaller objections.
There's some smaller ones like competitors in your area. Equipment, especially like for competitors in your area, the Florida sites will get into this and the Southern California sites get into it as well, where the sponsor may have over-selected too many sites in one region, and then they have objections. Maybe the CRO chose too many sites in one area, and then the sponsor tells them, no, we got to get rid of like 2 of these sites here. So then they'll come at you and say, hey, what are you going to do to prevent duplicate subjects? And then this is where you got to focus on your strengths, which is patient database of our own. So reverse engineer your responses. That's really the best way to handle the objections. And with PI oversight objections, obviously you want to appease them. You want to tell them the PI does have oversight. You actually have sub-investigators in place who are there 9 to 5 or 9 to 6. What else did we tell them?
No, that's it. GCP, they asked about delegation of duties.
How are duties delegated, so you want to get into your process of how that happens. And then if it's a recruitment objection, you've got to reverse engineer that too. Focus on your strengths. Do not talk about your weaknesses. I think that's the biggest takeaway.
You can speak of your weaknesses, but minimize those.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's okay, I think. Minimize them though, significantly, and then maximize your strengths.
Okay, so that's how you handle the objections.
I mean, again, feasibility questionnaires, sometimes they'll ask, and you have to answer it. What's going to be the biggest hurdle to overcome recruitment, say. So you have to provide an answer.
Right.
So in that case, typically what I will do is say truly what the problem will be, but then here's how we're going to resolve that problem.
See, when I answered that same question, I put none.
You can't. In this case, you can't.
Oh, you couldn't?
No, you had to put an answer.
This was back in the day when you could write on the phone.
Yeah, this is not the case.
Then they've changed. I've been out of the trenches for a while. Okay, so that's how you handle objections. Know what's important to the sponsor. Put yourself in their shoes. They're concerned about PI oversight. They may be concerned about your ability to recruit patients. They may be concerned about your experience as a clinic. They may be concerned about competitors in your area. Find a way to appease them. If you need help, text me, and I'll try to get back to you, right? 949-415-6256. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guru Nation. Take care. Bye-bye.